does classical theism with its doctrine of infinite being and impassibility, so maybe pick impassibility because that's an easy one. Um, when you say to the modern evangelical, God isn't passionate about you at all, the first thing they hear is God doesn't care about me.
Yes.
And I think what we need to do is be clear that passionate about and caring about are not formally the same thing, even if materially they are. So for instance, I may be passionate about my wife, and my passion may be the evidence of my care, and so that materially they are coincident, they're the same thing, but actually they're formally distinct, because if God were caring but not passionate, which I'm arguing he is, that in fact, if he cares but not in a passionate way, he actually cares in a profoundly more deep and immediate way. And I'll explain what I mean. Passions are passio, means that which comes upon a thing, that which is actualized in a patient. What I'm actually arguing is that God isn't made to care. Rather, he cares of his own initiative and of his own love in pure beneficence with the fullness of his being, so that the love with which God loves me is not a form of passion that he received when he was moved by me and my loveliness. That would be passionate love, and it may be intense and it may be wonderful, but it's finite, it's mutable, it's temporal, it's creature.
Yeah.
What I want to say instead is, if classical theism is true, and only if classical theism is true, can I say that God loves me with the boundless fullness of his being. And in fact, to Camden's point earlier, we don't lose the reality of intimacy with classical theism. In fact, it's only as we maintain these doctrines that we can uphold the pure, unbounded actuality of his love and of his holy opposition to sin, and all the things that we want from a personal relationship, like justice and love and care. You actually get all of that without boundedness, if as long as you don't try to augment transcendence with
Yes.
creaturehood, so that the immanence of God is actually the nearness of God in the fullness of his transcendent being.
James, two thoughts. You are on fire in terms of your clarity, in my opinion. But let me say this. In terms, number one, mutualism loses the thing it seeks, which is access to God himself. So mutualism cannot get you to the God we're talking about, right? He's forever blocked in the second order set of properties by which he relates to creation, right? But positively, here's the beautiful thing, and this is the point you're making. God always remains at a distance in mutualism. There's no way that distance per se is ever overcome, because essentially God remains totally unrelated. Personally, he remains related. So you're never related to the immutable, essential, triune God himself. You're never related to God as he is
Not
in himself immediately, right? But
Right.
immediate creation, when you think of it properly, and this is Voss's point, immediate creation makes, and this is the key, makes God himself in his full actuality as simple and triune, the blessedness and reward of the creature, by bringing summation, the nearness of what is given in creation, natural religious fellowship. So far from being an impediment, your point, James, that what stands is that mutualism cannot even conceptualize the Westminster Confession 7:1 idea of creation and the natural religious relation that covenant then brings to full fruition, where all of God is present fully to be worshipped and adored to the creature.